Alright guys, as you can tell, we've gone backwards a little bit. Hood and fenders are off. We've got this as far as I'm going to take it right now. I'll have to do the radio later. This goes to the heater, and then just some other random bits we got going across. So we'll have to finish that, but right now we're kind of where we're going in here for right now. So out here, the next step is the motor, and we're gonna do the same thing. You just, everything unplugs. I gotta pull that loose. I'm gonna pull that loose, and then we're gonna pull this harness as one complete unit, including the junction block up there, and then wherever it goes down to the, what we're gonna do is our new junction will be right here. Our mega fuse block is gonna be right here. We'll get rid of that one and then just clean up this firewall a little bit, and go from there. The only other thing is we're gonna try to keep it low and then come across down here and then shoot this away. So then later on, our vintage air will come out of a hole like right here or right here somewhere and join in it. So there won't be anything on that wall right there except for the vintage air outlets. And it'll really clean up this firewall. So we'll put down the camera and then start disconnecting this. And it's, like I said, it's you shouldn't have to cut anything. We're just gonna disconnect. On this one, the fuel, or not the fuel, oil pressure switch is right back there. A little different. We gotta hit this with our tack and our power, and just random stuff like that. So let me get it pulled out of here and we'll go from there. Coming around to this side, we've got our junction pulled off over there and everything pulled off. Now we need to start doing this side, and it's mostly everything in here, which goes to your alternator. We gotta get this off and trash it in favor of our new one. So yeah, you just gotta disconnect alternator wires right there. There probably used to be a choke in here. No choke. And then little wires like that, we're gonna finish getting this harness off of this truck. All right guys, we got the motor wire and harness out. As you can see, it still has all the connections on it. Even the firewall piece. Oil pressure sender. Power for the thing. This is why you got to go after these things. Look at, that's an open splash right there in the power side and 12 volt side. No tape on it, nothing like that. And it just, man. So, looks like it's crimped together right here. There was probably problems at some point, and that was their solution. So, yeah. Same thing down here, it looks like. Got a splice in the starter cable. One size here, another size there. No idea what that is. I didn't disconnect that, so I don't know what it is. This was also on the starter. That's engages the starter. So it looks like there was a little bit of fuckery down by the starter. And then who knows what's under here. So don't throw it away because it's still good if you need something. I think one of these connectors here, I think it might be this one, will have to come off for the new harness. So we'll see. You can use that as a template to set up your new harness, but we're not gonna. We're gonna do something a little different. So now that there's no motor harness, I'll throw it over there. Looks like we've got our ground broken off right here. It's annoying. It's not a huge deal. We'll fix it. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to bring our new harness over here, and we are going to zip tie all the drop-offs and just kind of settle it. And once we get it kind of ran how we want, we're going to pull it back off and put the painless wire loom on it. So let me get hands on it and we'll go from there. Real quick, guys, while I was down there undoing the starter, I went ahead and pulled out this harness a little bit. And we've got it right here. You can see the taillight harness it still has both ends on it. There's that end, there's that end. A little bit of fuckery around in it. That happens. And then we have this other harness. And again, it's off as one piece and it comes up. And what it is, it's for our tank switch back there. It just unplugs from the firewall right there. Don't lose this harness. We got to make some repairs to it. I'll grab the other end here. As you can see, there's a couple cut wires, and then this one's the tank. What I feel is the cut wires right there were, look at this, another open repair, just hanging out in the wind. But I feel these two wires probably are fuel tanks. So, and then there's another wire right there. We'll have to do something with that, but just like I keep preaching, don't cut anything. You can see the switcher connector there, and then we're connecting the firewall right there. So, we've got another orange wire right here that goes into there, and it went down, but it's all mangled. I feel like that's going to be the 400 transmission wire from in here. Let's see here. Yeah, see the wire goes through the firewall right there. It comes over to the switch right there for the gas pedal. So we may do something with that. Repair it a little bit, but don't forget it's there because it goes to the little solenoid on the transmission. So let me dig out the harness and then start going after it. All right, so back here in the box, we have this kit right here. Engine kit, 73 to 82. Looks like it's all there. We'll get it out and then start routing it and go from there. Let me get it out of the bag and we'll look at it. All right, we got it out of the bag. Go over a couple things. I really hate that they do this because you have to open this up to get this out now, and they're not as big as the old ones, but that's whatever. Anywho, you got several sets of wires in here. This right here is your VSS, speed sensor. We're not using that. Speed sensor, I'm sorry. This is tack, cool. There's a bunch of little wires in here. You can add some, subtract some, whatever. And then you have your base harness with all the good stuff in it. Let's go to the next page. On the back of that page, it kind of shows the overall layout. The way it works is it shows you coming out with this big red wire right here and hooking it to there and then also there, but then a 6 going from your starter, and then basically you're picking up your battery cable from your starter. What I've been doing is this positive right here comes straight from your battery because we're putting this over on the firewall. That means your battery has its own feed of that painless wire. I think it's a 1/0. And then all of the rest of the truck comes through this mega block here. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to find it. But I do it the same way where it comes from the alternator, it goes to the mega block. And then the same thing here, that'll come all the way around the truck and go to that mega block. But the mega block is on the passenger fender. So it's a little different. We don't, like I said, we won't have this jumper from the starter to there. I don't know what the need for that is. We don't use it. I don't use it. I like doing it this other way. I think the first truck I did it that way, and it makes no sense to me because it does mean you have to buy a battery that has the top post and the side post. And I always hook this to the side post and the starter to the top post. It's a random thing. It's probably not right, but it's how I do it. So, moving on, in our little package here, we got some extra wires. Let's see, alternator ignition. We have a tack wire, which we're going to use. Electric choke we'll have to put in there because we're going to use it, and just a few other things. Like right here, electronic speedometer connection. We don't have that. And then the next page moves over to the wipers assembly. This changes per year. This is up to a 77. This is 78 to 82. A little different. So yeah, because on the newer one, I don't see it. On the newer one, the where's it at? Washer pump actually goes to a bottle on the thing. You can do that with this, and you got to change your wiper arm, but we'll just leave it. We're gonna leave it in here. It goes, your washer fluid will come in and then go out. So it's pretty standard. We just have to work our way through it. Probably gonna have to add some wires because I bet like this light blue looks like in there. That one looks like it's in there. So, oh yeah, you see it's added there. So, some applications you'll need this, not in this one. And then we'll probably use every other wire in here, all the options. Then you have this one that is part of your assembly here. You have a white one, which is part of your assembly here. And then this red one, see if it shows it right here. You got your red one, that one line goes to the battery right here on the alternator, and then this plugs in. And then we have another wire, this brown, coming all the way back over here that'll plug into that. So just electric chokes put in, tack wire will get put in, and then just working our way through it. So let's get it opened up and we'll check it out. All right, guys, so we put our tan and our brown in. We put our white in. We took the yellow out because the yellow you're going to need on a like the 73 to 75, I think it is. It'll have a ballast resistor. These don't use those, so we're not going to have it on this. We got our brown and our tan in. Put our white one in, our light blue one, and then we've got it all right here. So what we're going to do now is this is where our big old bag of zip ties and then our box of 33 comes in handy. We're going to go through here. We're going to hook this into the firewall and start working its way around, like immediately the wiper switch stuff will get pulled out. So let me, let's get it up on the firewall and go from there. All right, so we got it plugged in right here, and we are going to begin. First thing is the wiper switch. We've got our drawing for the wiper switch up here. So we're going to need this white, a black, this blue and black, a light blue, a dark blue. So we're going to come down here and separate all them out. So let me get them separated out. We'll go. All right, so we got 5 wires. You can count them right here. 5 wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. We got our 5 wires. We've checked, make sure because everything has labels on it. You can't get it to focus. You can kind of see them right there. So we're just gonna push them out of the way for now. They'll hang out down out of the way. The rest of this is going to go across over here and then make its way to the other side of the truck, and we'll drop off stuff as we go. So let me get it over there, and then we'll look at it again. We will not be using, originally a lot of the wires come through this. This is going to come off and probably go in the trash. We're going through down here, keeping it nice and low and tight. So let me get it sorted and across the body, and then we'll start picking things out. All right, so we come out right here, come down to this hole, and we zip tied to this hole first. Going across, we got to pull this off and put our strap. Like we'll have a 1-hole strap that faces up to hold this right here. And then we're gonna have to drill a hole over in this corner right here. Right down there, we'll drill a hole to snap in. So right here, we're gonna drop some wires off before we drop back to the back of the motor. On this side over here, we have our dirty temp senders right here. We got our oil pressure gauge, which is right up under there. So that's 2 things we're gonna drop. So we'll come in here. Alternator, we got a coil, 12-volt battery, that's a starter. All right, water temp is the dark green. I guess we could have looked on the thing and saw that, but whatever. It's gonna pile out. Let's see if we can do this. You can do it a few different ways. This is the big block. It might be different on your small block, but either way. It's gonna peel out over here, so we'll just take it over to the front of the motor. Let me put a zip tie right here. Hold on. Let me get this out of the way, so we need the hole. So we're gonna zip tie these cables here. That we're gonna drop off. That way it's a nice little area. So all right. So let me show you this. Zip tied here, come across, we're gonna put a 1-hole strap there, or a 2-hole strap, a clamp, whatever. We brought them down across, and we zip tied right here to the thing again. And at that point, we're gonna start dropping wires out of it. We've already dropped our temp sender out, now we gotta find our oil pressure. So let me see here. Here we go. Old pressure cinder is this dark blue wire. We're going to dump it out. So, she's pretty long also, but we'll just dump it out right here with that, because it's going to drop. It's going to drop on our application right here. It's going to drop straight down and go to the cinder down there. So that's where we'll leave it for now, and then we'll cut it out of the wire loom. We'll wire loom it and go from there. So we're coming over this for now, the throttle cable thing, but we should be under it. And our next dropout is going to be our coil. Hold on. This should be our coil wire. Battery is a pink, ignition feed right here, and then the white is going to be the the tack. So drop it out here, pink, and you'll notice throughout the whole kit, pink is ignition. So drop those out of the bunch. We'll probably drop them out somewhere right in here. So we'll put a zip tie right here for that. All right. So then we're running out of wires, but not fast. But this is all the wires we got left. Is what, 4 wires? We have the electric choke, which will come around. We could do the electric choke 2 ways. Sometimes they'll bring it around this way and come in, or that way. We're gonna do a little different. So, all right, we come over to the other side now, and we only have 4 wires left for now. We have our electric choke, we have our igniter, alternator igniter, we have our main battery feed right here, and we have our starter feed. So we're going to kind of just visualize it right now. You're going to have 3 wires drop off right here. So we'll put a zip tie on this, and then this red wire will just keep coming right along around. So let me get to that, and then we're gonna add another wire. All right, so over here on the alternator side, what we've got is this number 6 wires in the package in the box. And what that means for you to do is come from your alternator to your starter, and then starter into this, but we're bypassing the starter. We're going straight to the block. So these 2 wires right here will come down here, make a turn on the fender, and come up to our fuse block, which will be fed by the battery. So this is how I do it. Right or wrong, it works. I like it, and it's kind of clean. So now that we got all our drop-offs taped off and zip tied off and stuff, we're gonna pull this back out and go through and start wire looming it. So let me get it out and we'll go from there. All right, it's time to get into our painless power braid loom setup. This one here is a little too big. You won't need it. Need it for the interior if you do that. I think this one is more along the lines of the right size to a certain point. We're gonna get them cut and not finished because I'm short a little loom, so, or a little heat shrink. But I'm gonna show you how I do it, and we'll go from there. All right, the first piece is long enough to go from here to where the split is, and it goes in like 2 different directions. That's as far as we need the big stuff. So let me get it on, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we got it in here, zip tied here. We drilled a hole over there. We got a zip tie. We still got to do that right there. Coming around behind, we've dropped on top of the transmission. We've got our coolant, our thermostat wire right here. We run it through there. Otherwise, you just run it through here. And we have, this is our oil. We're gonna terminate it, and then it gets plugged in somewhere down there. We dropped off for our tack and our distributor. We'll put an end on it, terminate it. Let's go to the other side. So on the other side, we kept coming over, and we dropped off for our alternator. We also have our choke right here, and it'll come along right there. We dropped off for our starter right here. I'm probably gonna have to, I've got some heat sheeting. We may shield that right through there. And then coming around, I may put a little piece right here of heat shielding. We drill holes, and I have zip ties that have anchors on them. We've anchored across the bottom right here. So then when we put our fender on and stuff, we'll have to put our inner fender in and then finish this. But that's just moving along. That's where I'm gonna stop today. I gotta go inside and do desk work. So got to do some decent work while it was pretty out. So thanks for checking it out.